This is Grassroots Radio Colorado on KLZ 560.
Welcome back to Grassroots Radio Colorado. Hey, I got it right that time.
Hey.
you hear lots of voices in here. This is Chris Cook, your host, and I've got Stacy Petty, who is my co-host tonight. We've got Andy and Corey Pate, from the Party of Choice, and talking about words that win, how to break down some of these walls that these liberal arguments set up, and how to reach across that divide and have a productive conversation about something like the minimum wage going to $15 an hour. Mm-hmm. All right, so at the break we were talking, and I put forth here you're on Facebook, and one of your friends has posted this, infographic or meme or whatever about how great it is that Seattle raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And my contention is that I go into full sarcasm mode at that point, make complete and total fun of them, and usually get unfriended. And probably not the most productive series of events.
I've been there. I've done that. I totally understand. It's so easy to do.
You throw out the Macy's quotes instead.
Yeah. They don't understand those, and then they have to go look them up, and then they just call me a racist, and something privileged, and I don't know. And then I unfriend them.
And then we crash and burn, and we start all over.
Exactly. So what would be a better way? You have this on your Facebook feed. This is a friend that you don't want to lose. Mm-hmm. How do you approach something like that post? Let's just start there.
Okay, well, here's the first thing I always do to remove the wall, to get that down, because what they're doing is they're putting up a wall. Or they're capitalizing on it, or getting up on top of it and screaming at you from it. Okay, but here's the thing. You don't have to agree with their point. Agree with their heart.
Okay.
Here's what I always lead with these people on this issue. I always say, look, I love your desire to help the poor. Or, the $15 an hour thing. I love the reason you like that. I love the reason you like that. You see people in need and you want them to have more. Okay? I think that's great. I feel the same way. You see, I see people in need. I want them to have more, too. There are too many selfish people in this world, and you rise above it. I think that's great.
Okay.
You see, because their heart isn't the bad part here.
Right.
Now, there are those who are just selfish, and they just want to rake it in. I get that. Get more for not working. Right. But I'm talking about the person you're talking to, who you're debating with. First, take down the wall, connect with them. Because you believe... Look, wouldn't we all wish that nobody was in need?
Sure.
Well, okay, then we agree. So I lead by that. I say, well, I love your reason that you hold that position, the reason you hold it.
Okay.
Okay, connect with their heart. Notice I'm not using words like parasite, freeloader, takers versus makers, and all that kind of stuff.
You're
Why?
not quoting Mises.
Exactly. The reason is I don't want to rebuild the wall.
Right.
It's already there enough. Let's take it down. Just by doing that, and I often ask them, why do you think that way? And, no one's ever controlled somebody else by listening to them. Just by listening, you're killing a lot of that preconceived notion they have about conservatives.
Okay.
All right. But when you connect and say, I love the reason you hold that view. I've even told people, I love the reason you vote Democrat. I do. Okay. I disagree with your vote, but I love the reason you do it. And here's why, Okay. And next time we'll talk about women's issues and talk about, how that really works there. But the next thing I do is I understand their position. I say, look, you'd help every one of them if you could, but you don't have enough money, do you? And there's those rich people over there. They have more than they need, so use their money, right?
Right.
Connect with them. The wall is coming down. You see, in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I use a lot. Sorry to, promote that, but.
Don't be sorry. I actually really like that book.
One of the big things they talk about is state the other person's position better than they can.
Okay.
That's how you'll connect with them. Now they're listening to you. That kid that you could never break through the wall to is now on pins and needles. They want to hear what you have to say.
Right, because they never would have expected to hear this out of you. Yep. Is that right?
Yeah, and by the way, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've totally blown this 1,000,000 times, that's great. The more you've blown it in the past, the more profound will be the difference now. The more you'll shock them with the new approach.
Right.
So it's great. Don't feel bad about how much you've hit it wrong in the past. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. Then, but here's where I change it then. I've related it by saying, sometimes we want to help people so much we cross the line and force others to give them more money, maybe through higher tax rates on the wealthy. Go get it from them. Me, I only want to control my own life, not yours, not anyone's. And that's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I continue? Or?
Yeah, please. This is...
Okay. You see, what I try to do is I try to look at them and I say, at that point, what you're doing is you're actually controlling the charity of others. Okay? I mean, why do I hold the position I do? Why don't I want to raise taxes on the wealthy? Here's why. And here's by the way, taking one step back, sorry to get confusing.
No, you're fine.
Another big mistake we make is that we'll go into a long diatribe without grabbing their attention first. Remember, they don't like us, so they're not going to give you a long time to speak. You got to grab them right up front.
Okay.
So when I say, why don't I raise taxes on the rich? I say, so you can be good.
So you can be good.
And they look at me and say, what? Yeah, I want people to be
kind of what I'm doing right now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's terrific. That was great. My wife looks at me that way all the time. I wake her up at 3 a.m. Honey, what is my purpose? And she does that look. It's
that exact look.
Yeah,
This is theater of the mind or radio of the mind. People.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's the thing. You can't be good if I force you to be good. Okay? That's why choice is so important. We always have to argue from the position of choice as conservatives. Always. Take two parents and a kid. Okay, they got this kid, and they tell the child, okay, this is how you can be good. You have to every day. You got to clean your room, do the dishes. That's your chore, and do your homework.
Right.
All right. But mom has a remote control, and it's a special remote control that she controls her child with. And I believe many moms actually have this, just so you know. I think mine did. And let's say she uses that remote control for an entire year, and so every day the child does all three of those things, does the dishes, does their homework and all this. At the end of a year, has the child done anything good?
No.
No. Why? They didn't have the choice to do so. By the way, sorry to go all Christian here, but for critics of the Bible, that's why God put the tree of knowledge of good and evil, in the Garden of Eden.
Exactly.
Without the option to do bad, we could never be good. He was giving us the chance to be good. Okay? By not controlling your kids, but by guiding them, you give them the chance to be good. And when you force the wealthy, when you control their charity by taking more of what they have and moving it somewhere else, you take away their opportunity to be good.
I like that. Okay.
So that's the first thing. And second thing, by using your vote to raise taxes on other people, you actually use your superior numbers to control the charity of others. Now, I look at a young person, I say, now, I know you haven't done this on purpose, but look at what's happening. Tell me, is there any worse, more power-hungry thing we can do? I mean, how would you like to have someone control your charity? Let's say you regularly give to a church or give to this, this group downtown that helps the needy. What if I came to you and said, I want you to triple what you're giving, but you can't give it there. I don't like that charity. You have to give it to this one over here, charity D, not charity C. And you have to give it in this way. And how would you feel if I controlled your charity?
I would be resentful.
Right. How are the rich going to feel?
Resentful.
So we've put together an entire system that is designed to make the rich what?
Resentful.
How's that going to work? Is that going to draw us together or split us apart?
Exactly.
Well,
and, often we speculate that is the objective of the leftist agenda, is to split us apart. But I'm guessing, as we're sitting here and I'm thinking this through, that may be, the leaders of the left, the leaders of the liberal movement, but the people that we're going to run into on a daily basis, the people that we're going to see on Facebook, are not invested in that agenda. They are invested in trying to help the poor. Right. They are invested in trying to do things, and so if we can show them that there's a different way.
Exactly, because they have been conditioned to believe that the Democrats or the left are the ones who are helping. And everybody wants to help. Everyone wants to be a part of something larger than themselves. And so that's the easiest way they can do it. They can give their vote to something that they feel is bettering society.
Right.
Tell them how great they are for that. That's how you lead in. They're not bad for wanting to do that. They're outstanding for wanting to do that. In a selfish world where people are grabbing everything they can, they want to make that kind of a difference. I think it's outstanding. But the problem is they want it so bad they cross the line and control others and make them do it and take away their ability to be good.
Well, it's the tyranny of the masses.
Exactly.
That's what that is.
Exactly.
And you know, I've always looked at this battle for like a long-term thought of Republicans and Democrats, liberal, conservative, however you want to identify. We all want the same thing in the end goal. We want our country to be safe, no wars. We want a roof over our heads. We want our kids educated, fed, clothed. We all want those end things.
Right.
We just believe in different paths to that end goal.
Exactly.
And so those are the conversations that I try and have with, have you considered this? Why this person thinks this way? And what merits are in their conversation that they're having with you? What do you look at and say, okay, I get that, I understand that. Well, how are we going to work with that? How can you and I come to an agreement here to make this happen? And I mean, because I'm more of I'm a classical liberal, and so I tend to, you know, gravitate towards theft and force and property. And so that's when what you're saying here to me, that's what I'm translating it to is some people respond with how you're doing it, that there's plenty of us that would respond of, well, do you want me to come and take $20 out of your pocket and go give it to the charity of my choice? Or would you have to go to charity of your choice? And so when you make it individual to where the person's in charge of their own decisions, I think it's like the honey vinegar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, using absolutely something I was never really very good at. So let's continue to let's pick a different subject and continue to explore this after the break. If you guys can stay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Then after the break we will continue exploring this methodology using something different.